This story is titled, My Wife Constantly Criticizes Everything I Do, and I Feel Like Nothing I Do is Ever Good Enough. I never thought love could feel so lonely. But when the person who's supposed to be your partner, your biggest supporter, only ever finds fault in you, loneliness is the only thing left. My name is James. I'm 52 years old, and I've been married to my wife Laura for 18 years. We live in a quiet neighborhood in Virginia, in a home we built together, filled with memories and years of love. Or at least, that's what I thought. Now I'm not so sure. I don't know when it started. Maybe it was gradual, slipping in between us like a slow-moving fog, clouding the warmth we used to share. At first, it was little things. I'd load the dishwasher, only to have Laura sigh, roll her eyes, and reload it the right way. I'd make her coffee in the morning, just how she liked it, only to hear, "Did you even put sugar in this?" I'd try to surprise her by fixing things around the house, but she'd always find something wrong. "That's not how you paint a wall, James. You didn't fold the laundry right." "Seriously, you call that cooking?" It was endless. And every time I swallowed it down, every sigh, every comment, every disapproving glance, because I loved her. Because I thought, maybe she didn't mean it. Maybe she just had high standards. Maybe I just needed to try harder. Then came the arguments. Not loud, explosive fights, but the kind that left invisible bruises. The kind where every word chipped away at me, making me feel smaller and smaller. One night, after a long day at work, I made dinner for us. I wasn't the best cook, but I put in the effort. Laura took one bite, wrinkled her nose, and pushed her plate away. "This is awful," she said. I tried to laugh it off. "Guess I won't quit my day job." She didn't laugh. Instead, she stood, grabbed her purse, and said, "I'm just going to order something decent." And then she left. Didn't even look back. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my heart heavy. Did she even love me anymore? Had I done something to make her resent me? Or worse, had she always felt this way? The next morning, I decided to talk to her. I found her in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone with a cup of coffee in her hand. I sat across from her, gathering my thoughts. "Laura, can we talk?" She didn't look up. "About what?" I swallowed hard. "About us." She sighed, finally setting her phone down. "What now, James?" I hesitated. "Do you even like me anymore?" That got her attention. Her eyebrows pulled together in frustration. "What kind of question is that?" I let out a breath. "You criticize everything I do. You never say anything kind to me. It feels like no matter how hard I try, it's never enough for you." She scoffed. "Oh, poor James. Are you looking for a gold star? A round of applause every time you do something?" I flinched. She saw it. And she didn't care. She just shook her head and stood up. "You're being dramatic. Maybe if you did things right the first time, I wouldn't have to correct you." With that, she walked away. And for the first time, I wondered, was this really love? I sat there, staring at the empty seat where Laura had just been. Her words echoed in my mind. Maybe if you did things right the first time. It was always me, wasn't it? My fault, my failure, my incompetence. But was it? Had I really become so useless? Or had she just convinced me that I was? That week, I started paying closer attention. Not to what I was doing wrong, but to her. I watched how she spoke to others, how she laughed easily with her friends, how her voice softened when she talked to strangers. But with me, there was no softness, no laughter, just criticism. And the more I noticed it, the harder it was to ignore. One evening, we were getting ready for a dinner party at her friend's house. I put on a button-up shirt, one I had worn plenty of times before. The moment Laura saw me, she sighed. "You're really going to wear that?" I looked down. "What's wrong with it?" She rolled her eyes. "You could at least try to look decent." A familiar sting settled in my chest. But this time, I didn't swallow it down. I met her gaze. "You know, Laura, you talk to me like I'm a disappointment to you." She scoffed. "Oh, don't start." No, my voice was firm. "I need to say this." She folded her arms, annoyed, but I didn't care. "I have spent years trying to be good enough for you," I said, my voice shaking. "But no matter what I do, it's never enough. You don't encourage me, you don't support me, you don't even like me, do you?" Her eyes narrowed. "James, stop being ridiculous." "I'm not being ridiculous." I let out a slow breath. "I just want to know, when did you stop loving me?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. That hesitation told me everything. She didn't deny it. She didn't even try. I nodded, the reality settling deep in my bones. "I see," I whispered. The next morning, I packed a bag. For the first time in years, I wasn't second-guessing myself. As I reached for the doorknob, I heard her voice behind me. "Where are you going?" I turned to face her. "I don't know," I admitted. but I know I deserve better than this." Her expression wavered, like she hadn't expected me to leave, like she thought I'd just keep taking it. But I wasn't going to anymore. I walked out that door, and for the first time in a long time, I felt free. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt unappreciated in a relationship? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more emotional stories like this. Your support means the world.